Hello, and welcome to the East Africa Business Podcast. This show is all about showcasing entrepreneurs who are building businesses in this exciting part of the world. From reading high-level articles about the region, it can be difficult to really understand what's going on, and so my hope is that these interviews somewhat bring it to life, as well as stoking your curiosity to go find out more. On that, do take a look in the archive for more episodes that we've done, but for now, let's enjoy the rest of this funky intro music and then get started with the show.
The minerals, the vitamins, the proteins, the omega-3 in it, from that 1 tablespoon or 20 grams that you consume in a day, you're able to get all this.
In this episode, I speak with Sabina Karumba about how she and her husband started Chia Africa. Most businesses have an interesting formation story, but this is one of the best I've heard in a while. Sabina and her husband were watching TV one evening in 2012 when a doctor came on this show and explained the health benefits of chia seeds. Compelled to learn more, they undertake research and a few months later are planting their own chia plant in Western Uganda.
Amazingly, we heard about chia seeds from one program on TV called the 700 Club.
This is the first commercial plantation of chia seeds on the continent. And after going around with samples of what they grew, they both quit their day jobs to go full-time on the business. A few years later, and they are the premier producer in the region, trying to keep up with demand despite other people entering the market too. Sabina and I talk about lots of interesting things, such as how chia seeds should only be grown within 5 degrees of the equator, the genesis of becoming Africa's first chia seed producers, despite the fact she and her husband had never done any farming before, and keeping up with demand for the superfood.
And basically, it needs about 5 degrees within equator, north or south of equator.
Oh, really? That's
exactly.
Really thin. That's
exactly.
Not very many places on it.
Not many.
One thing that Sabina downplays, but I thought was particularly impressive, is her attitude to sales. 2 of the biggest breaks for the company came with being listed by a major supermarket and then one of the region's largest distributors.
We went there and we spoke to the owner, Mr. Amir. He had never seen chia seed, he had not heard about it, and he was like, He orders for all his branches.
In both cases, she just turned up unannounced at their offices, asked to see the owner, and after sitting down with them, sold them on making big orders for chia seeds with Chia Africa in just one meeting. The reason, I think, is that Sabina is clearly incredibly passionate about the power of chia seeds and believes everyone should have them in their diet. Her pitch is pretty simple. It has amazing health benefits that can change people's life. People just don't know about it yet. Make sure you have some in stock. You can learn more about the health benefits, the company, as well as pictures of the chia plant, which yields the chia seeds, which I'll admit I never knew what they looked like, by heading to the show notes for this episode at www.theeastafricabusinesspodcast.com. Anyway, without any further ado, here is Sabina. Cool, so we're here today with Sabina from Chia Africa. Sabina, welcome to the show. So just to get started, could you tell us a bit about you and a bit about Chia Africa?
Thank you so much, Sam. As you heard, my name is Sabina Karumba. I am a Kenyan. We do run Chia Africa with my husband, who is also my business partner. His name is David Kisembo, and he's based in Uganda. Chia Africa is registered in Kenya, with offices in Kenya, but our farmlands are in Uganda. That's where we do our farming since the year 2012. That's when we started, that's when we first heard about chia seeds. Amazingly, we heard about chia seeds from one program on TV called the 700 Club.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the 700 Club.
There's a gentleman who had been brought in, who is a medical doctor, who was talking about chia seeds, and we were like, what wonder seed is this? We were so excited, and we were like, we must find out this seed, what this is all about. Because it was so amazing. Whatever they talked about the chia seed, it was so amazing. It was something like everybody must know about. So our journey began and the research began. Initially, we were calling it chai. Chai in Swahili or in East Africa is tea. That is tea. And we're looking for this chai. We could not find the chai.
Looking for tea.
Yes. So we had to replay the 700 Club once again.
Yeah.
And then we realized it is Chia.
Is it 700 Club, so a TV program?
Yes, the 700 Club.
Why is it called the 700 Club?
It has its membership, probably I believe it's membership. They started with a membership of about 700 people who were supporting. I'm not quite about that. It's a Christian program.
Okay.
Yes, with somebody called Pat Robertson.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a TV program, and Patro, he invites on guests and things.
Yes.
There's one guest.
They do talk about politics, they do talk about health, they do talk about business. So amazingly on this particular day, besides the normal preaching they do and all that, they also discussed about the health, the human health.
And what was the medical doctor, what was he saying about chia seeds?
He was talking about how amazing this chia seed is and what it does, what it is able to give the body from very small quantities of what you consume. The minerals in it, the vitamins, the proteins, the omega-3 in it were like from that 1 tablespoon or 20 grams that you consume in a day and you're able to get all this. It was amazing. Yeah.
Wow, okay, so this is this in 2012.
That was in 2012.
Yes. And how long was it before you realised it was called chia and not chai?
Amazingly, at around that time, me and my husband were discussing about career change and all that. He's a mechanical engineer by profession. I am an accountant by profession. But we wanted to venture into something that we would be able to do and work on together. So actually at around that time, we were thinking about the agribusiness. And amazingly, this important information comes to us. So immediately, we didn't take long. We started finding out what this chia seed is. So we went like 3-4 days, we were not able to find out what this chia seed is because we were looking for chai. And we were like, the chai we know is a normal chai I take every morning. It has never given me, yes, of course it has benefited me, but it has never given me these amazing benefits as what I had from the 700 Club. So eventually, we were able to find out that it is not chai, it is chia. And the research went on. And barely a month after that, we were able to even get a contact of some Americans who had come to East Africa. They had done a bit of groundwork, some research, to try and find out if they can introduce this seed to the East African region.
Okay.
Yes.
And what did they say?
They had just engaged first group of farmers, of which sometimes, because of probably the education background and all that, people up country in rural areas, they find it difficult to embrace new crops that they do not understand about.
Yes.
But amazingly, because we had already heard about it, and when we looked around and we were able to talk to them, actually we talked to them, we were in Nairobi, they were somewhere in a place called Masindi, that is west of Uganda. They were there at that particular moment. This is the same place that my husband area, that's exactly where he was born.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it was very easy for them to understand and for us to integrate. And they were so excited because they were like, now we've gotten people who are willing to understand this whole project that we are getting into. Yeah.
Cool, okay, wow. So, I mean, there's lots to sort of talk about, but I think as we're on it, let's keep on the supply side of the business.
Yes.
What is a chia plant? Is it a chia plant? Chia seeds come from chia plants?
Yes, the chia seed comes from a plant, the chia plant.
Yeah.
And chia seed is generally South American, basically Mexican. But its scientific name is Salvia hispanica.
Salvia hispanica.
Hispanica, yes, that's the scientific name.
Okay.
Yeah, but the common name, which is known everywhere, and it's embraced. Go to North America, go to South America, go to Europe, it's been called chia. Come to Africa, we are calling it chia and not chai anymore.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what does a Salvia hispanica plant look like?
It's just a plant that grows with, let's say, not very big leaves, medium-sized leaves, which grows to about 2 to 3 meters in height.
That's quite tall.
Yes. And you achieve that if you're having good weather.
Yeah.
The soils are good. But if your weather is not good, the rains are not coming well, it will flower even when it is like even 1 foot high, which is not good. Yes, it will flower. But if you put that in the labs, you are going to find that the nutritional content is very low. But in good environment, actually it can go even as high as 3 meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And how long does it take to grow to 3 meters?
It takes about 3 to 4 months. On the higher side, 4 months. If you have some delay in the rains, because we're using rain-fed, it's rain-fed farming that we are doing. If you have a bit of delays, within 4 months, at most 4 months, you will have harvested. But if there's no delay with the rains, even 3.5 months, you'll do your harvesting.
And can you do it all year round, or does it have to be? So can you do, if it's 4 months, can you do 3 cycles a year? Or is it only in particular parts of the year that you can do?
Okay, first let me take you a little bit back on the good conditions for the growth and germination of the chia seed. Basically, the seed, the reason why it has gotten this high popularity, it is because of its nutritional content. It also has to be in optimal area where it can develop or manufacture these particular nutrients that you are looking after. And basically, it needs about 5 degrees within equator, north or south of equator.
Oh, really? That's
exactly.
Really thin. That's
exactly.
Not very many places on it.
Not many, and that is why you see it's around the Mexico area, the South America. That is where it does very well, and that is why the group of first people who came to invest here, they came from North America and they came in the region of East Africa. Reason why? East Africa generally lies between 5 degrees north and south of equator. That's where you get the optimal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you come here, you are going to find that even within the equator, there's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. We are lying within the equator, but in some regions, the rainfalls, they vary. For any seed basically to germinate, it needs some moderate, reasonable amount of rainfall. Some regions, they do get rainfall like twice, 2 good seasons in a year. Although in as much as we're falling within the equator. So when we are farming it in Uganda, we're able to do it comfortably. We can do it twice. Although there's another short season in this month of June, July in Masindi, but it's quite unreliable. So basically, we do opt to do it between February and then we harvest by end of April, May, latest by June. And then the next season, we start it in October and we do our harvesting by December, January.
Correct.
Yes. So 2 seasons in a year comfortably. Although when the rains are sufficient, we can do 3 seasons.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you could irrigate, could you definitely do 3 seasons?
You can do it all round.
Yeah.
If you can do irrigation, you can do it all round because the sunshine within the equator is more or less consistent throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the part that comes with farming chia, the productivity per acre. If you look at the yields are not as high because when the rains are good under optimal weather, you get about 400 kgs, 400 kilos per acre.
Yeah.
People who do maize farming, that is corn, they're able to do like 40 bags of 100, that is like 40 bags. You're doing here 4 bags of chia.
Okay.
With the maize, you're doing 40, you're doing 10 times.
I see.
Yeah. So, because the seed is equally very, very small. If you have a look at it, it's a very, very tiny seed.
Yeah.
So the productivity is low. So what does that tell you? You need a very high acreage for you to be able to produce a lot. Likewise, when you do irrigation, it means you'll be irrigating a very vast area. And investment on that will equally be very high.
I see. So
Yes.
if it was more, if the potential for it to yield, if it had a greater potential to have higher yields, it would make more economical sense to do irrigation.
To do irrigation.
Okay,
Yes.
but at the moment, it's not quite a good investment. No?
Unless, let's say, because for me, I can say we as Chia Africa, we've had so many inquiries, especially from Europe. Europe is a very big consumer of the East African products. Like for Kenya, we are doing a lot of horticulture. And if you look at the flowers which are being done in Europe, like almost, I think 4 out of 10 roses in Europe are from Kenya, actually, basically in Kenya. So Europe is a good market for the East African agri products. We've been having inquiries here and there, and very, very positive because we do send small quantities as they are developing also their markets because they also need consistency. But I do believe in a very short time, sooner than later, because we're having very advanced discussions with quite a number of big time suppliers with huge supply chains in Europe, we should be able to get to a point whereby we can say we're now willing to invest so much into irrigation to have an all year round production.
And that's really interesting. So at the moment, is Chia Africa exporting?
We do export. We do export small quantities. We've sent to Germany. We've sent to a client who was still based here in Nairobi, but has clients in Europe.
Yeah.
But it's a US company based here.
Oh, I see.
They do cold oil pressing.
Cold pressing.
Yes.
Yeah. And are you selling it to them packaged in your packaging, or are you selling it just as a commodity?
It depends on the preference of the customer. There are those who are okay with our packaging. There are those, because of also the regulations within their area, they need to have different kind of packages, and also language barriers. Like for clients who are coming from Arabic regions, we do translate. We do our stickers and everything, even our own the same branding, but we do translate it into the commonly used language wherever they're coming from.
Okay.
Yes, and for those who are not willing to do, they want to develop their own brand, because sometimes it's also wise to develop your own brand. Mm-hmm. Yes, for those who are willing to develop their own brand, we do get them in bulk.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. Wow. So is chia seeds? Is there any real difference in chia seeds that are grown here versus in Mexico versus grown elsewhere, or like, can you say that yours is one chia seed is a higher quality than another, or is it just really about the packaging or like that, or the method of delivery?
Let me say this: the reason why I took you back to the optimal regions for growing the chia seed, and why chia seed is becoming so popular, it is because of the nutritional content. They've said within the equator, and it has been researched, and there's information out there, researched information about the most optimal area. Reason why, actually, when you do plant it within the 5 degrees north and south of the equator, you do get the nutritional levels being very, very high. It has been tried elsewhere, and that's what I was saying. The first group who introduced the chia farming here, basically in East Africa, they had come from the US. They had done a bit of research here and there. And they had understood that if you do it within the equator, you're going to have the optimal. If you do it in other areas, you're still going to get the chia seeds, but the nutritional levels, especially things like the omega-3, it has been confirmed, the levels were very, very low. When the Americans came here, they did a comparison of the chia, the first harvest we had of the chia seed in Masindi and generally in Uganda area. They compared to what they got from Mexico. I'm proud to say it came out 6 times better.
6 times?
Six times better. It was amazing, yes.
Than the home of the chia seed?
Exactly.
6 times better.
And then you're going to ask me again, why do you want to do it in Uganda? We're based here in Kenya. There's a reason for that. If you look at the history of Uganda, let's go to the history of Uganda. There was a lot of civil unrest after they got their independence. So as a result, people never got to settle and do the farming as such. So their land was not very much overutilized. In Kenya, we've had basically, and we thank God for that, we've really enjoyed civil stability, especially after independence, that is in the early 60s. We've had stability, political stability, thereby people are able to do their farming, all that. So as a result, soils here have been quite overutilized. And again, if you look at the percentage of arable land in Kenya compared to that in Uganda, Uganda is a much smaller country than Kenya. But you can say 34% of the land in Uganda is arable. That's quite a good percentage. As opposed to here in Kenya, we have a way much smaller percentage, which is arable. So their soils, not overutilized. Secondly, most of the area, you can do your farming. So it becomes quite an optimal place for us to do the farming.
Very good. Okay.
Yes.
And also your husband is from there.
And then he's there, so it makes it quite even more convenient here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk me through how it works. So you watched the 700 Club in 2012.
Yes.
You had the conversation with the Americans a month later, or like 2 months later?
In fact, barely a month after that. Barely a month after that.
How long was it before you were planting your first chia plant?
In 2012. October
2012?
Yes, the October of 2012, we did our first trials. Okay. We had never farmed before.
Really?
We were not farmers. We did. Actually, even at that time, I was still employed somewhere, doing accounts for somebody. Yeah. My husband was still doing his technical things.
Yeah.
Then we go to the farm. We now think we're equipped with all the knowledge that we need to do the farming. And we failed miserably the first time we did it. We harvested so little, but thank God, the little that we harvested enabled us to do at least the lab analysis, and it gave us encouragement. Yeah, and besides, we also knew now if we do it better and at the right time, we're going to get the yields that we're expecting. So the next season, there we were. We went full board, and we also began to also try and sensitize, because the whites, the Americans, the Western world, they were aware of what chia seed. They were beginning, a higher population was aware of what chia seed was.
Yeah.
Here locally, you would talk of chia seed and they would be like, what is that you're talking about?
Yes.
So we also embarked on making people understand what chia seed is and all that, because we were fully convinced this is something that should be in everybody's diet on a daily basis.
Yeah. Okay. And how much work is necessary on the farm? Do you have to engage with some of the local population?
It is a lot of work. The first time we started with 30 acres. We were like, no, this is the right thing to do.
And how did you get 30 acres?
In Uganda, as I'm telling you, they're still having huge chunks of land. It's possible to even get 100 acres of land consolidated. So you can run a farm of up to 100 acres.
Really?
Because what happens in Uganda, with most of it being fertile, you'll find people even with 2 acres, they're able to produce their own food sufficient for the family.
Yeah.
So there's also quite a lot of land lying out there, still not being utilized. Yes, it makes it easier to be able to acquire that land.
And the fact that your husband's Ugandan, that means he can... Do you own the land or do you lease the land?
They do have land. Fortunately, in his family, yes, the grandfather had invested in a very huge piece of land, because he have 400 acres of land.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So with 400 acres of land, there's part of that land which has never been plowed completely. So 30 acres is a very drop in the ocean, considering what is within the exposure.
Okay, so you go there, and then how many people did you have to sort of cultivate the land?
We did mechanical farming, plowing. There are certain things we got a tractor.
Yeah.
We also had to do a lot of bush clearing. That entails a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Then we did plowing. We got a tractor. 2-3 days. It does the plowing.
Yeah.
Yes, and the disking. That one we do it mechanically. But now when it comes to the planting, we had a planter. We had acquired one planter from China. Yes, a planter, a simple handheld planter.
Oh, it's a machine, not a person.
Yes, it's a planter.
So I thought it was a person.
No, a planter. Because we were looking at it and we were saying, you need to do 30 acres. When are we ever going to finish this?
Yes.
So we said, okay, let's get a planter. So we had gotten a planter, which unfortunately didn't work. It didn't work.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Even your husband being an engineer, he couldn't fix it?
You fix it. These are the part falls off. Tomorrow, really? So we gave up on that, and we had done, I think, at most 4 or 5 acres with the planter.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as effective as we had been made to believe it would be. It would drop a seed here, the next one would be dropped there. So we had to go back again and...
Oh, really? See? Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
You drop one next to your feet, and then the other one will be down.
Yes, and then after that it will drop a whole half a kg in one place. But we said it's a learning experience, and we were ready for it. And it was an exciting journey for us. As in, we were looking at the future, more of the future. So at that point, we got people, a whole group of people, a whole village. Just gather the whole village.
You
could bring in like 50 people in your farm.
You called a village meeting, and you said, right.
That's how they work. Yes, that's how they work. Yeah. Actually, they work in groups.
Yeah. And you said, right, 50 people.
Yes, we got about a group of about 50 people, and in 2-3 days, they had done it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how much did you have to pay them?
You negotiate depending on the groups. They come like a group of 50 people, but they're not in one grouping. They have a leader. Actually, they have somebody who negotiates on their behalf. Because see, some of them, they're not educated. They're having so many challenges. So they prefer working in groups. They have like a chairman who come and negotiates on behalf. So for an acre, they charge about Uganda shillings. That's about 30,000 Uganda shillings, which is about 3,000, which is about $30. $30 US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So $30 per acre.
Per acre.
Okay, cool. So you did that, and then once they planted the seeds, does there need to be continual watering? And
No. The good thing here now, we now depend on their rain fed. We do rain fed.
So once
yes.
it's planted,
yes.
Is there much more work to be done?
There's a lot of work.
Okay.
The other major and challenging thing that comes on board, actually, it is the weeding part. And the weeding, actually, you cannot even do it mechanically because you're going to mess up a lot of your crops. So that one also has to be done manually. Yeah.
Okay.
There again, you bring in the whole village, gather in groups, for about another 1 week, and able to do it mechanically.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. And then, so that was sort of when you started. What does the operation look like now? Are you still at 30 acres?
Initially, when we started, we did the 30 acres. And from the experience we had, we realized we can do even much more. And again, at that point, we had done a lot of sensitization. We did a lot of, especially here in Nairobi and in Kenya. Let's say in Kenya, because people are more exposed, there's more exposure here. Mm-hmm. The Kenyan market embraced the chia seed quite well and quite fast. Mm. We did not even have first to go to the export market because we were still having challenges of volumes. We could not do the volumes. So for the Kenyan market, once it's accepted, we were able now to feel like we can project, we can do this number of acres. So the first time we did the 30 acres, we did at the wrong time because we had never found before. We we did plant when it was slightly late. Remember, we are depending on rain-fed water. We did it a bit late, so our yields were a bit, in fact, they were just very low. Let's be very honest, they were very low. So next season, we got very ready for it. We did partner with somebody else who was also willing to come on board. Because we wanted also, remember, we were having the challenges of building a market and also production. We got a partner based in Uganda full-time to manage the operations of the farm. And here we did the marketing and sensitization.
Okay.
Yes. And it worked quite well.
How did you find that partner?
He was among the first few people who were also in touch with the Americans who came with the first seed. Yes.
I see.
Yes. So when people started feeling like, this is something I don't want to do, this thing, because chia seed, unfortunately for upcountry, I don't know whether you've been in any of these upcountry areas of East Africa or in Kenya for that purpose. Basically, they depend on their farms. Whatever they produce on the farm, that is what they sell. If they're not able to sell it, they can feed their kids on it. Chia seed, you cannot cook this and give it to your kids. Yeah. Yes, so they felt, okay, this is too risky business. We are not going to do it. Let them do it. Once they succeed, we'll come on board. Yeah. So the few of us who are courageous to continue with it, we did. That lady was among them. So we went again, did farming. This time, we put in 100 acres. Yeah. Did the plowing at the right time, just on season. As the season was starting, we did it. And it went very well until harvest time.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Wow.
Chia seed is not like any other crop.
Okay.
You see, like when we do farm, let's say like maize, because that's basically the main thing which is being farmed around here in East Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya. And it happens that it is raining during the last 1 week when you are anticipating to harvest. What you do, you don't remove your crop from the farm. You just leave it until the sun comes out. And then leave it there for about a week. It will dry up. You'll be able to harvest it and it will be okay. Yeah. Dried, it's okay. Chia seed, once it comes into contact with water, it forms a gel.
Yes.
It cannot separate. Now, unfortunately, we just watched helplessly as it rained. The rains, it became a hassle in 2030. There were so much rains around in East Africa. So much. Actually, it even brought down a few buildings here. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was harvest time. There's nothing you could do. We cannot remove it. It's not yet purely fully matured. It needed about a week. And it's within that week, it decides to rain and rain heavily. Oh my gosh. We just lost
the whole harvest.
Chia worth like 40,000 tons, metric tons.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Just for that rain?
From that rain. Yes. And that became another learning lesson for us. Now, what we've done since then, we've still expanded our operations, but we've tried to see how we can reduce our risk. I'd rather lose 5 acres instead of losing 100 acres. You'd also rather lose 5 acres, me 5, instead of you lose 100, I lose 100, another person loses 100. So what have we done? We've gotten farmers to come and invest. We've provided the land because the land is available. We still have about 100 to 150 acres available for chia farming. We bring farmers on board. We give them the seed. We facilitate them whenever they do not have finances, because somebody might come, buy the seed, put it on the ground, But when it comes to weeding point, this person doesn't have the finances. You don't just let the crop get go to waste. You facilitate them to do the weeding. Then eventually, at the end of the harvest, we all come and sit down. I facilitated you with this, this, and this, and this. And we are going to buy this here. In as much as we've given you the land, we facilitated you, we're still going to buy it from you at this cost. Why? We are trying to spread the risk.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's beneficial for everyone, because even the people now, the farmers who are not willing to come into chia farming, they've seen us lose 100 acres, and they're like, these people are still going back. What is it about it?
Yeah.
And again, now with the consumption of chia and the benefits that they get out of it, they're like, okay, I think it is still worth doing the chia seed. Yeah. You give somebody 2 acres, they are able to manage 2 acres, because with 2 acres, they can do it even within the family members. The husband with their kids, they can manage 2-3 acres. So it means their cost of input is reduced. And then when they harvest and able to get money, or when they do not have money for their school fees and we're facilitating them with the school fees for us to be able to recover it when we harvest, they're okay and happy with this. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Cool. So that's sort of the main supply side of the business.
Yes.
And so now you're at a stage where you've kind of got you've got these sort of different farmers who are coming in and using the land.
Yes.
Talk to me a bit about the demand side. So you're saying that even if you, I mean, as you were saying earlier, like chia seeds is not something that was really on many people's radar even a few years ago.
Yes.
How have you seen the demand for chia seeds? Like, what's the story of the demand for chia seeds in East Africa?
Okay. When we started sensitizing, I would talk of chia seed, even people would not listen to me. They would wonder, now, what is this? This person just wants to sell me the things. There's so many things that we keep hearing about health foods and all that. And at that time, actually the first harvest that we did, majority of that went into sampling. The first 30 acres we did, and we harvested so little, we decided, fine, we are going to take the full loss of this, but whatever we have harvested, we are going to use this as our sampling. We give samples. Actually, gave out a lot of samples. But thank God, chia seed is a very effective seed, because in as short period as 3 days, you're able to feel so much difference in your body. So we were like so certain it is not a loss. We are investing for the long term, not for the short term. But we knew in the long term it was going to pay off, because everybody who would use chia seed after 3 days would come back and tell us, my joint pains, I can already tell you there's a very big difference. I'm feeling much better. After a month, somebody with arthritis, they'll come and tell you, now, me, I'm just a different person.
It cures arthritis.
It does take care of arthritis very, very effectively. Wow. Actually, for somebody with arthritis, severe arthritis, after 1 week, they'll tell you there's a remarkable difference in the way they're feeling.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, even medical doctors, they're now even telling people, go and find chia seed. At that time, these people, they don't even know whether it is a plant, it is an animal, but they people go and look for chia, because it is something which has been proven. And now, good thing, there's a lot of researched information on the effectiveness of chia seeds.
Okay. So who are the main people who are buying chia seeds?
Initially, when we started, basically people with arthritis.
It's mainly medicinal, or like people mainly use
it has nutrition, because, okay, let us address what is disease. Disease it comes as a result of the body lacking vital nutrients. So the moment the body gets the vital nutrients that it is required and in correct quantities, the body will feel eased. It will be okay. Yeah, exactly. And because chia seed does that, it provides the nutrients that are needed in the body. It makes the body feel like, now I was unwell, now I am well. Yeah.
Okay. And do you like segment your customers, or do you say, we've got this type of customer, we've got this type of customer, we've got the people who have got ailments, we've got the people who just want to be a bit healthier, we've got the mums who give it to their kids every day. Do you sort of have different types of customers that you can talk about?
Initially, when we started, we basically were going for people who were having conditions that they wanted relief on.
Okay, and how did you find them?
We used to have conferences. We used to have workshops. We hear there's a workshop going on. We would register for those workshops. We would go there, talk about it. Wherever it is that I do attend.
When you say workshop, what do you mean like?
We do have organizations that do organize workshops, like women's organizations. We have agricultural organizations that do organize workshops from time to time.
What are they? What will they talk? What's like a typical workshop? What might it be about?
It depends. As we would go for any, because at the end of the day, it is the awareness that we want to create. Maybe there's a women's conference, we are there. There's an agribusiness discussion going on, business investment, we are there. Because this one will fall under business investment, under health, any workshop that they'll allow us to go and have a discussion, we would go and talk about it. And as a result, we were able to reach out on so many people. And in those workshops, we would give away actually samples.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'd say, so the first bit you gave over was, people who've got ailments, so they've got
exactly.
these,
Yeah.
You say, here's a free sample, try it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, how could people buy them if people then wanted to come back and buy them?
No, thank God. The few people and the effectiveness of the Chia said, for every person who would give a sample, they would definitely come back and buy for their own. And they would know somebody else who has a similar condition or somebody else who has another condition that would benefit from it. So as a result, initially we got a lot of referrals, very many referrals.
When they refer, what did they say? What, call up Sabina and she'll give you some? Or
yes. We would give out our business cards, and in all of our packages we do have our contacts. Yeah. So they would call up.
Okay.
Yes.
So at the beginning,
it was on a one-on-one. At the beginning, it was a one-on-one.
You kind of knew everyone. How are you packaging chia seeds?
This is how we've always packed our chia seeds.
This is like in a little clear plastic.
Exactly. You can see what it is. Yeah. And we've also provided a lot of information that is eye-catching first. It will make you curious. Yeah. What is this? Are you telling me that this will give me all this? Yeah. Just curiosity will just make you, okay, let me just give it a try to prove them wrong. And now amazingly, as I'm telling you, being a very effective seed, in 3 days, this person is already.
They say, right,
exactly.
I want some more.
Yeah, I'm going to call someone. And then they get it proper. Most of them, they got it for their parents, elderly parents, people with arthritis. It helps to manage diabetes type 2. It helps to manage hypertension. Yeah. And those are very common conditions that people are having. Actually, statistics shows that out of every 10 people in Kenya, 3 people, they do have either diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, or all of them.
Really?
Yeah. So you can imagine for every 10 people you talk to around here, there are 3 people who would be willing to give it a test.
Yeah. So we're seeing on here, I'm just reading the back of the packet, 2 tablespoons. So is the recommended amount 2 tablespoons?
It is recommended. And basically, this is just food. You can take more than 2 tablespoons, but ideally what the body does when you give it more than it needs, it discards. Okay. So don't take more than what you need.
Yes.
Yeah, just take what is sufficient and you'll be okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
8 times more omega-3 than salmon.
Yes.
When you say salmon, like a portion of salmon or 2 tablespoons of salmon?
2 tablespoons.
So it says 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain 8 times more.
Exactly, omega.
But is that like a portion of salmon, or is that like how much salmon?
Yeah, a normal portion of salmon. Yes, a normal portion of salmon. 3
times more iron than spinach. 64% more potassium than a banana. Alright, okay. Why is it
and good thing, you see, if you look at that information, you'd feel like it's a bit exaggerated.
A bit?
You might feel like the information provided here is a bit exaggerated for marketing purposes. And thank God it is not, because nowadays we're in the era of internet.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to tell people who are curious about what we have indicated here, please do not go even into my website. Can you go and check other research websites?
Which is not so.
Which is totally independent. Yeah. Yes, impartial. And they would always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it so that the branding here is Dr. Chia or Dr. Chia Plus? Why is it not Chia Africa?
We are Chia Africa. The company is called Chia Africa, but we are calling it Dr. Chia Plus because after we had even registered our Chia here and our Chia Africa and our Dr. Chia, we realized there's another Chia, Dr. Chia, I think somewhere in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yes. And you see, that can bring about legal issues. Yeah. And not even that, we are developing a brand. We don't have to develop a brand and then somewhere along the way, we have to lose after working so hard. Yeah. Actually, Dr. Chia Plus is patented here. Yes, we do have a patent for this. We do have a patent for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it says here, the best way to do it is to put 2 teaspoons of Dr. Chia Plus seeds in a glass of water or any other liquid and take after 5 minutes. Why do you have to wait 5 minutes before you drink it?
Because what you're trying to do is to allow it to form the gel. What this seed does, once it comes into contact with any fluid, it absorbs water and becomes larger.
Yeah.
It does not dissolve. Okay. We do not want that whole process to happen within your body. Actually, you can even scoop it and put it in your mouth. But you can see now the process of it absorbing water and expanding will be happening in your body. It will be expanding using your body fluids, which is not dangerous. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But you're going to get so dehydrated. It means you need to take a lot of water. Yeah. So the best way, just make it easier for yourself. Make the gel and then just drink it. Chia seed has no flavor. It's tasteless. It's basically has no flavor. If you put it in water, it won't alter the taste. So you won't get some other funny taste on your water. You can put it in your juice. The people who are not able to take it in plain water, you can put it in your juice. It blends basically with almost anything. Your milk, your juice, yogurt, soup, anything. It's user friendly.
Okay. But the best thing is to get it to do its gel forming. Otherwise it makes you too thirsty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically
I always wondered that.
Yes.
I sort of when I sort of thought when I
actually this seed, when it gets into contact with any fluid, it can even become like even 20 times its size. So you can imagine you've taken this and
20 times its size.
Yes.
Really? How much liquid does it need to get?
So if that is happening actually in your body, can you imagine the amount of water that will have been absorbed from your body, your fluids? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much does so this is 100 grams? How much does 100 grams cost?
Okay, I'm a wholesaler. Basically, I don't sell pieces.
Yeah.
I think I better take you back now. How we got to where we are.
So,
yes.
At the beginning, you were selling one-to-one.
Exactly.
And then actually maybe just tell me what's the story of starting from one-to-one to where you are.
Yes. So when we got to a point whereby we had created enough base of awareness, we realized we were getting now phone calls. We would run up and down every single day. You deliver here, you deliver here. It became too hectic. The supply chain.
What year is this? What year is this?
That was in 2013.
2013.
Yes,
okay,
let's say around mid-2013.
2013.
Yes.
Okay, so you had your first...
We did our first October.
The first one we did the samples, the second one failed because of the rains.
Exactly.
So then did you do another harvest and that worked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So after you've done that, and that there was no problem with that one.
Okay, of course now that's when we decided we're not going to do large scale farming again. We'd rather spread this risk. Mm-hmm. Come do your 5 acres here. We also do our minimum every season. We do our minimum of 15 to 20 acres. Now plus the other small scale farmers who come in and do 3-5 acres like that. And we're able to do our 100 metric tons every other season. Mm-hmm. Now, having established awareness, we were getting phone calls here and there. Give me 5 pieces here, give me 20 pieces here. And now we realized we can even develop the brand. Remember, initially, we didn't have the brand. Okay. We were just selling chia seeds.
And you just in an empty packaging?
In a packaging without a brand.
Yeah.
So we realized now we have to develop a brand. Because if you have to take it probably in the supply chain, you must be a recognized brand. Mm. Because now there's enough awareness and we are running helter-skelter every day, supplying here and there. So we started approaching the retail owners, retail shops. We went to Chandarana.
Yeah.
In fact,
Chandarana is one of the biggest supermarkets.
We do have Tuskys and Naivas. They're quite big. Chandarana, they're also equally big, but not to. If you look at the outlets.
Yeah, but it's a big for people who are not from Kenya. Chandarana is a big.
It is. It is.
So you went to Chandarana.
Yes, we went to Chandarana, and amazingly, some of these entrepreneurs, they always have a gut for this is it. This is it. It's something new. We went there and we spoke to the owner, Mr. Amir. He had never seen chia seed, he had not heard about it, and he was like, He orders for all his branches, supply each dozen across the board, across the various sizes, taking a risk, that much risk. It is in December, towards the Christmas season. And you know what? We supply by 22nd, 23rd. By the time we were coming back in January around 15th, he had sold off everything. Yeah. And then there's also another one lady, her name is Shanice. Shanice runs a shop called Elixir at the village market. Mm-hmm. She's also another person who said, even before the branding, she would just buy and put in small packagings and put in her shop. Yeah. So she was like, you branded it, put it. They just took the leap with us. Mm. Yes. And from there was no going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you sell it to Chandarana, so that would be the end of 2013.
2013 December. 2013. Yes.
Okay. And then what was the next big win after that? What's the next thing which comes about that?
We do have so many outlets, and you say, like even for Chanarana, they do have many outlets. It's not only one outlet. So you supply here today, tomorrow there. We started moving to other retails, big retailers. It became quite a challenge. First and foremost, they view us as a very small supplier. They're dealing with huge suppliers. And not just Chanarana. We also had so many other local shops. Like even out here, there's a small supermarket just before the Uchumi. I also do supply them. So many small outlets. Yeah. So every day we are supplying everywhere. We are running up and down everywhere. We are having now trouble with the credit control. You're supplying.
Yeah.
You're not.
But that you mean you deliver, but they pay 30 days later. Is it 30 days?
Yeah, they're those who are paying cash. Yeah. They're those who they just don't want trouble. They just pay you cash and they're managing their finances very well. They don't want to believe they're having money, yet it's other people's money. Because once you supply on credit and you've sold, that's not your money. Yeah. That's somebody else's money. So they don't want to get caught up in that. Okay. So for them, they're those who pay cash. It will keep us going. But there are those who are also big time buyers. Credit 30 days. So you can imagine, by the time you're getting money for the first supply, you've supplied somewhere in between another 4 or 5 supplies. Yeah. So we began to have trouble with our cash flow. We realized if we go on like this, it's going to be so difficult for us. And again, at that time, remember, we're still small players in the supply chain because these supermarkets are not only selling chia seed. They are selling sugar, they are selling flour, they are selling all sorts of things. Yeah. Now you're coming here, maybe you want your 200,000. They're owing somebody 20 million. Yeah. No, they don't even want to hear about you. Yeah. So we realized now here we're having trouble with our cash flow, and we decided now we must have a solution for this. As we used to go around, there's one major distributor that we would find. Every day you go supplying, you just find them. You go here today, he's there. You realize there's a big muscle in the market. Okay. We did approach him. Yeah. Another very interesting person, Mr. Raju and his brother Asmok, and we appreciate them a lot. Okay. He had also not heard about this. He looked at it.
So he's a distributor?
He's a distributor, big time distributor. But he was a very receptive person.
Okay. And how did you get a meeting? with him?
We walked in. We looked around, we saw we came, Googled, realized he's somewhere in Babadogo. We walked in there. And imagine the first day we walked in there, he gave us, we had no prior appointment. We were just going there to ask about. We find the brother, he tells us, no, today my brother is not in. Come on this day, we are going to give you a call. And they give us a call and we just go discuss. And he was very receptive. He said, this is it. I'm going to give it a shot on it. He said, go do this. There are a few modifications we've done along the way since we started the first packaging and all that, but it hasn't been so far away from this. Wow. He just did that. He made his first order. First month, he moved things around. Second month, before we knew it, sometimes he overwhelms us, and we appreciate a lot. We are so thankful to him because even the credit period that we agreed with him, he keeps to it. Yeah. Today, if I run out of cash flow and my farm needs harvesting, he'll not fail to give me the check. He'll give me the check and tell me, go do your harvesting. It will not wait for the 30, 60 days. No, he'll give you the check. So that resolved our cash flow issue. Yeah.
All because you went up to Babadogo.
And we just picked on the right person. He's a big time supplier. Mm-hmm. And he's a very smart and intelligent. I like their approach of his approach of doing things. He's a risk taker. Yeah.
What it is, Sabina, I think you need to give yourself more credit for how good you are at pitching this. You've gone to 2 very senior people, one of the biggest supermarkets, one of the biggest distributors, and in one meeting you convinced them to partner with you. I think that's...
Let me tell you, they've been in the business for long. They can smell business. They had realized there's a niche for superfoods because like the chia seed was just coming up. And they had not, and because they've been in the business for long, they just knew this is the right time for this.
And were they importing chia seeds from anywhere
there
else?
was no chia seed in the market. So there's only one supplier, Help You. I also used to supply her in bulk, and she would pack in her, because she has her own brand. Yeah. It's only Help You who was importing it. Okay. Actually, they were importing it, I think, from somewhere in Europe, and they were exporting it at a very high.
So if they're importing from Europe,
yes, imagine.
That person's imported from somewhere else. So
of course, South America, it was coming from South America at that time, yes.
Lots of extra.
Exactly, yes. Logistics, it was becoming very expensive. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So, how much So at the moment, you now just sell wholesale. You just go through this one distributor, or
yes, we do give to the distributor, and then he takes actually even to these neighbors. If you walk in that neighbors, you're going to find chia seed. There's no shop here. If you go neighbors countrywide, you're going to find my chia seed.
And so, do you have an account with neighbors, or do you do it through the distributor?
No, I do it through the distributor. Even with the anil and all that, we all channeled them to Raju.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing thing is that Raju and Anil, they had worked together before.
Okay, so
yeah.
they know each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't need to disclose the exact numbers if you don't want, but I'm just interested, like, what's rough figures, like how much does it cost to produce, how much does it cost for you to get it in the packet, what margin are you then giving to the distributor, what margin then goes to the consumer, like roughly what numbers are you looking at?
I think I better talk. We do have our recommended retail prices, which we do expect people around to be sticking to. But there are certain things, if you look at very well, they might not work as you would want them to. Because today you might have your shop here. I know these neighbors will not pay rent the same as they're paying their rent maybe in Hurlingham.
Yes.
It might be probably a bit higher. But we do have a certain percentage. We do play around within about 15 to 20% along the chain. I keep my 15%, somebody else keeps their 15%, and the other one keeps their, and everybody feels it's a fair play.
So that means, how much does a packet of 100 grams cost in a regular vessel? About 400 baht?
This one we have recommended 195 shillings.
So
Kenya shillings. These are 100 grams.
It's 185.
It's about 180. That's a recommended retail price.
$1.85.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about $1. $2. Let's give it $2.
$2.
Yeah.
$2.
Yeah.
And you're saying the supermarket will
they
take.
Do have their margin there.
So they'll take about 15 or 20%.
Exactly.
Distributor takes 15%.
Exactly. And they also keep my 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so then the bit that's left that's what it costs for the manufacturing and
exactly for the production and all that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. And you, in terms of the supply chain, you own everything from the plant all the way up to putting it in this package.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's no other people involved.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did you think this will continue? This would be the main. If you look at how you're going to expand the business, will you continue to use this channel? As in, you're going to keep producing, sell it to the distributor sells it elsewhere, or will you look at other channels?
Let me say, for now, we've had a very good working relationship with Debenham and Fear, and they have a countrywide coverage. And being a distributor, because it does nothing else but distribution. You go to all these big companies, people who are doing biscuits, people who are doing jams, people who are doing pasta and all that, they're channeling their products to him. And again, having been in the market, he has reasonable muscle to be able to manage the credit part of it. Because in the recent past, we've seen supermarkets that have gone down with people's finances. He has a muscle to manage that and to cushion you.
Yeah.
To cushion basically people. Because for me, I'll go and get my money from him. Whatever business he's having with a retail chain, he's able to handle that.
Yeah.
And because we've had very good relationship with him so far, I'm not planning of for now. And again, if I am, the only other way would be I do it myself. Yeah. There's a big challenge in investment. I would need to have a whole logistics center set up for the vehicles, the staff, and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look now at like how you might look to grow the business, what are the main? How are you thinking about it? What are the main areas that you think you should focus on?
I would want to do much more than just the basic product, because the chia seed as it is, there's nothing added to it. It's just harvest, clean it, get it packed. Yeah. I would rather I'd want to add even more value to it. Okay. That is why we've tried to do.
Yes, let's have a look.
Yes, high energy biscuits. This is what we call high energy biscuits. Yes,
okay.
yes.
So how does this work?
This one, we wanted it to work in such a way that it has lots of chia seeds, such that for people who are not able to consume it the way it is, they can still have the benefits of chia seed probably in their breakfast, with the biscuits with reduced sugar, because at the end of the day, we don't want to give you a health product, and then we dilute it with, yes. So reduced sugar, or we go natural and use stevia or something like natural honey, plus the chia seed. Even the kids will enjoy that even as a snack.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have, we're working on morning cereals.
Yes,
We want to do morning cereals that are friendly, with
So-
chia seeds in it.
So what is that? What's this going to look like? So chia morning cereal. What's the value addition that happens here? So is it like cornflakes with?
Exactly. We are saying if you do have the cornflakes, which is also good for you, you can have some twist of a bit of chia seed in it.
So it's kind of like they've got little chia seed
Exactly.
flakes in or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Currently, I think you were saying that most of the business is sort of happening in East Africa, but you're beginning to look at exports. You're doing some export at the moment.
We do get those inquiries for people who will take like half a ton, 1 ton. Actually, the American took a whole container of 16 tons.
16 tons?
Yes, we cannot fail to do any export business.
Yeah.
Besides that, there's one challenge that has been affecting us, especially when it comes to the first world market. They prefer the organic.
Okay.
This is, we call it conventional.
Conventional.
But ideally, there's no fertilizer. Chia seed is a very resistant seed. You plant it as long as you've weeded the place very well. You do weeding at the right time. It will grow and germinate without much trouble.
Yeah.
It repels actually some insects and diseases by itself. So ideally, when we are farming this, we do not put any fertilizers. We do not use any pesticides, herbicides. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for something to be recognized as organic, it must have a certificate from recognized organizations.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, it's quite an intensive, cost-intensive exercise.
Really?
Yes, it is. Because for you to get that, you'd invest almost like 30,000 USD.
30,000 USD?
Yes, and for that season. For you to be able to get actually that certification. And you have to keep doing that for every other season.
Wow, so you just get it per season?
Per season. Because you see, if I did it organic this time, does not necessarily mean I'll have done it organically. It's a lot. It's a lot. And that is just for the certifications, besides the cost of the farming. Now, they want the organic certified seed, which is very much okay. But even in fact, now this coming season, October, we're also going to do it organic and keep it. Okay. Whether somebody has ordered for it or not, because previously what we've done is get somebody who is willing to get the organic, and then we do specifically production for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just think. Okay, so let's maybe just do a few more questions.
Yes.
So when it comes to sort of the supply chain, I'm trying to think. So you've kind of got this farm in Western Uganda. Does the packaging happen? Like, where does all the packaging come out? How does the logistics actually physically getting the products from the place, from Misidi in Western Uganda through to the distributors in Nairobi? Like, where's some of the processing or the facilitation happening?
From the farm, the only thing we do is grow, harvest it. We just do basic cleaning at the farm. This thing, by the time it looks this, there's a lot of work that has been done to it.
Yeah.
There's no single husk here. Initially, when we started the farming, we had trouble with sand, because during the dry season, when it is harvest time, it's windy and it's dust being blown all over.
Yeah.
So it used to have a lot of small sands, particles of sand. We do have a machine which is based here in Nairobi. That is why we have to bring it, farm clean, get it properly and thoroughly cleaned here before the packaging. There's a machine also in Uganda, but the person uses it also for other things like simsim. They're also farming a lot of simsim, sesame.
Yeah, sesame.
Yes, we call it simsim here.
Yeah.
They're also doing large-scale farming there, so they use that machine basically to do that. So it's perpetually busy.
Okay.
You can almost have no time to have your chair cleaned there.
Yeah.
But because we have a facility, there's somebody who has invested about 100 million Kenya shillings in that equipment. So we're able to do our cleaning.
100 million?
It's a lot of
$1
money.
million?
It's a lot of money. We're just here depending on that one machine.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge investment, and we are glad and we appreciate.
Yeah.
And whenever we walk in there, he's always ready to do the cleaning for us.
Wow.
Yeah, we walked that journey with him. He knew he wanted to invest in that. So as he was shopping around, we did provide him with lots of the chia seeds for them to do their trials, and eventually decide on this machine they're going to do their cleaning with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we appreciate a lot.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So basically after the cleaning, we do the cleaning here in Nairobi, packaging is done here in Nairobi. Yeah.
And then do you have a warehouse, or do you go straight from the packaging place straight?
What we do use, because it's bulky, here it's bulky. Yeah. The same facility where we do our cleaning, once we come with it from Uganda, he rents a space. We keep it there, do the cleaning, we keep it there, then we just pick what we need to pack. And again, because we are doing bulk packing and giving it to the distributor, we do the packing a week or so, and we do bulk supply to the supplier. And he has a warehouse, big warehouse. Yeah. So we do have where we can put our raw materials after the packing. We take it to the warehouse, distributor's warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have other people started farming chia seeds?
Yes, we do have. We do have, actually, most of them are Kenyans. There's also another Kenyan who's doing farming in Uganda. Yeah. They are Kenyans, but they've also taken up land there. Here in Kenya, we also did what we had already lost so much initially by doing the trials. We farm, we lose. We knew the Americans had done quite extensive research on the farming in Uganda. Even in Rwanda, they opted for Uganda, they opted for Rwanda because of the Congo forest. It gives them very good climate. Yeah. So we decided we also don't have the finances now to go and start researching and see how much omega-3 is going to be in when I do it here in Kenya. But as we speak, we do know there are people who have done trials and they're farming it here and there. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. And are you finding that's bad for business or good for business?
It is good for business because you can say, when I said, even today, I know there's somebody who has never heard about chia. Yeah. Even today as I speak, I've done this for so many years now, but I know even right now as I speak, there's somebody who has never heard about chia. Who will reach out to that person? There's somebody has to reach out. It might not be me, it could be somebody else. Okay. Yeah.
What do you think, if you look back at your journey so far, what do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned?
Farming is a very risky business, but it's also fulfilling.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you're able to understand the dynamics of the activities, the farming activities, it's very fulfilling. And more so, the chia seed. Basically, I want to be known for superfoods. As we speak, I'll be soon doing black seed. This black seed, it's also very nutritional. We do have pumpkin seed. We have things like moringa. These are beneficial to the human body. Today, as we speak, we are dealing with so many health issues. We have cancer. Small kids are getting cancer. You find a 9-year-old with diabetes. You wonder, how did this happen? When you give them this, and somebody comes and tells you, you know what? I'm not limping anymore. My arthritis is gone. It brings some kind of fulfillment. Yeah, it gives me joy and happiness and keeps me going. And honestly, I'm passionate about farming. I'm an accountant by profession, but when it comes to, even when I talk about chia, somebody had told me that I go and work for them. And I'm not a marketer, but I'm passionate about chia seed. So I'm able to talk about it with lots of passion. Yes, and the outcome is that chia seed does not disappoint. Never.
Fantastic. And people who are listening at home, how can they learn more about Chia Africa? What are the best ways that they can learn more about what you do?
Chia Africa, we do have a website, www.chiaafrica.co.ke. We are also available, our products are available on all supermarkets, let's say all retail shops. Go to Naivas, go to Tuskys, go to Chandarana, go to Zucchini, go to Elixir, you're going to find us there. Go in, or even your local small shop around you, you're going to find Dr. Chia seed products there.
Internationally? Should they just contact you about?
Yes. You can also contact, if you are internationally out there and you would want to reach us, we do have www.chiaafrica.co.ke, and we also do have our contacts there. We do have our telephone numbers for David Kisembo and also for Sabina Karumba.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll link to those in the show notes after this episode.
Thank you.
Very cool. Sabina,
yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad about this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Before we head, just a quick moment to say thank you for listening. You can see show notes for this episode by heading to the new website www.theeastafricabusinesspodcast.com. If you'd like to learn more about the show and the work we do, then you can have a bit of an explore on the website and also subscribe to the various places such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and email. Finally, if you felt this was a good episode and you've been enjoying the show recently, then please do consider leaving a rating for the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. You could also tell a friend who's curious about these sorts of businesses that we feature. And indeed, if you know of a business that you'd like to be interviewed on the show, please feel free to reach out via any of the channels mentioned above, and we'll see what we can do to have an interview and showcase them on the show. In any case, have a great week and speak to you soon.